Om Mani Ome Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme 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 Hum. Alright, so today we can talk about the throat singing of the Tibetan monks and the Mongolian Tuvan throat singers. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. And the connection to slime mold intelligence. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. As loners. And this is a response to a video by Andrei Petrov. He's made 2 science videos about slime molds. And slime molds are featured in the underground classic 1960s psychedelic biology book called The Parable of the Beast by John Bleibtreu. And as Andrei Petrov explains, some of the slime molds are quote unquote loners, and they are left behind to then try, if when the environmental conditions become favorable, they start then forming a group together and build a tower to then attach to another animal, or use the wind to search out for better conditions to survive and reproduce. And so the loners are also, they end up sacrificing themselves and not reproducing. And so they're celibate in a sense. They choose celibacy, and they're like worker drones in Eusociality. And the biologist E.O. Wilson argues that Eusociality is only found in about a dozen species on the planet, and it's an example of multiple generations cooperating together to help raise the future generations. And this is based on a nest, using a nest to protect and as the home. And then the grandparent generation helps the mother raise the young. And so in a sense, we find this Eusociality even in slime molds. And the slime molds even rely on loners to then help future generations survive. And E.O. Wilson argues that this type of Eusociality is a group selection based on the genome of the species as a whole, and that it can't be explained as just kin selection based on just the sharing of genes, of genetics, but the question, and this idea of group selection is dismissed by most biologists. But of course, E.O. Wilson provides a very detailed argument as a scientist working with other mathematicians, and so the problem, of course, is that we are experiencing biological annihilation due to the development of westernized Western science as a materialistic idealism. And so in quantum biology, as Professor John Joe McFadden first began proposing around 2004, that evolution is actually driven by the quantum nonlocal proto-consciousness as information, and slime molds are shown to be intelligent even though they're a protist. They're in the kingdom of protistas, so they're not fungi, they're not animals, and they're not plants. And so their intelligence is from the microtubules or tubulin of their cytoskeleton that Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose explain is the basis for non-local quantum consciousness. And this is achieved through meditation, and the loners in Tibetan meditation, they do cave meditation, and they practice something called tumo, which is the strong internal heat. And science has been studying the tumo to try to figure out what causes the heat. And it's actually from this proto-consciousness of the universe as a quantum beat or subharmonic of the future. So it's negentropic reverse time energy that's stored. Just as Erwin Schrödinger argued, the same negentropy of gravity that powers the sun is the same negentropy that powers life. And so Roger Penrose emphasizes that the same negentropy as gravity that creates the quantum entanglement of the sun solar fusion is the same proto-consciousness of the universe that survives after the acceleration of space by dark energy and the slowing down of time that then turns into a coherent asymmetric time of the next universe is the new before any Big Bang. There is another collective cohesion of the virtual photons that then are coherent from the non-local proto-consciousness. And so no one is actually alone. The strategy of loners as hermits is not based on being alone, but it's in Western materialistic culture that we think that we identify alone as a materialistic separation. And so the slime mold demonstrate the truth of this cooperation passed on through generations, and in fact it is eternal time as a non-local resonance that's a listening process, that it cannot be seen as a linear measurement due to time, frequency, uncertainty, when you're relying on an external tool such as light to measure a materialistic matter. And so the source of light is this sub-frequency or quantum beat from the future as reverse time. So you can see and you can hear the quantum beat as the Om of the universe. Om mani padme Om, Om mani padme Om. And this is the Schumann elf resonance of our proto-consciousness in the limbic brain of the microtubules as the cytoskeleton and collagen of the body. It's the most common protein of our bodies and the basis of our true intelligence. Om mani padme Om, Om mani padme Om, Om.